Good Friday evening, everybody. Welcome to the Philly Friday Friends with Big Al. Guys, I know it's a little later than we're used to, but it was a rain delay. It was a rain delay for the Phillies, rain delay for the Chase Utley induction to the Phillies Wall of Fame. So it was a rain delay for your boy Big Al, because take you right into the Phillies post game. We were in the fifth inning, down 3-2. Man on second and third. Schwarber strikes out. Turner strikes out. 3-0 count right now to Bryce. Got to be smart. He's got to get on base at the very least. Got to push guys through. Can't let that happen. Good evening, Bobby. Nice talking with you guys this morning on Phil's show, and I thank Phil for the plug as always. I miss working with all you guys. You know how it is. So tonight I want to talk a little bit, couple things. Eagles we got Eagles football starting real soon, guys. Next weekend, Eagles football. Are you ready? Are you excited? Who you watching? Who you looking at? But part of it I want to talk about because of the Chase Utley thing. I'm watching the Chase Utley induction of the Hall of Fame. Really cool. I don't know if what your guys' thoughts on that was. And Harper strikes out. So they end it in 1, 2, 3 strikeouts after getting guys on second and third. And you just can't. Sorry, guys. You can't do it. In front of the Hall of Famers, too. Or Wall of Famers in this case. But Chase Utley was my guy. You know what I mean? I'm 43 years old, 2008. My first real foray into the Phillies was 93. So I was 10. Then they had the strike in 94. And I was like, oh, don't worry. This is going to keep getting exciting, right? Well, I was wrong, but I stuck by it, right? Stuck by the Phillies for a long time until 2008. And, I'm 25-ish years old now. And I'm in my prime, and the 2008 Phillies happened. Homegrown group of guys for the most part. You got Ryan Howard and Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins, just Chooch, Jason Worth, just really all around good, great team. Had a lot of that same feel that the 93 Phillies had. Just those guys who just seem like they've been best friends for life, I guess. They made it fun. It was fun to watch through the good and the bad, because there was plenty. I think we have revisionist history sometime where there was a lot of bad moments for that team. It did that 08 season was kind of a not seen coming. You know what I mean? Just really wasn't like something we were all sitting there going, oh, they're going to win the World Series this year. This wasn't like that year that we just felt so uber confident, and they did it. And they went on a magical tear in 09, just missed a back-to-back World Series by a Yankees team. 10 and 11, and then you started to kind of trail off into that 12 and very long stretch up until where we're at now with the Harper and Schwarber crew and all that. But Chase Utley was that guy, for me. He was the guy they said during his speech, which I enjoyed. I thought it was going to be short and sweet. I did not. Danny Ozark. Okay. Here's a good one. I did not think that. I listen, I'll put it this way. Really missed opportunity that I'm dropping an F-bomb. Okay. I just got to throw that out there. They should have. They should have figured it out, like how they could bleep it out, like even in the stadium, like just kind of planned it out a little bit. I mean, I know it's impossible, but it's in the stadium. But I guess there's kids there, so they got to be respectful. I just think it was a missed opportunity. But other than that, it was really cool. It kind of got me in the feels, I'll be honest with you, in some ways, just remembering, I don't want to say the good old days, but the good old days. Just a team that understood us. And I want to know tonight, not just Phillies, but Eagles, Sixers, Flyers. I don't care if they won championships or not, but who they embodied Philadelphia, who just seemed like they were a good fit, both work ethic, personality wise, rolled with the punches. They just fit. They fit the team. They fit the team, and it just looked like they were made to play here. And I want to hear you guys thought fits that mold. Like I really like, and why we talk about it. I'm going to try to get you guys involved tonight as much as humanly possible, because I think there's certain guys it's simple, and I think there's certain guys that we might miss because of different reasons. Like Chase was the guy because he worked hard, he gave it his all. His best was never good enough. He would push back at you. We remember the boo me, well, F you, that situation. Live TV, world effing champions, like just the grittiness of Philly, like, he just seemed to fit the mold of Philadelphia. But other guys, and listen, I'll give you a couple easy low-hanging fruit ones, like Jason Kelce, right? Just seems like the guy was born in the Philadelphia area. He never was anywhere else. He was Cincinnati, Ohio, right? Somewhere close to it. Like that, he fits. Like he's a beer drinking, fun loving, but hardworking, wants to win, enjoys the fans, embraces it. Brandon Graham, there's another good one. Brandon Graham. But I think there's guys that are missed for different reasons. And we'll get into a couple. I'm going to talk about one shortly. But I'm going to play a video, a little piece of his speech and explain to you why when it come out of it. So let me play it right now.
And the truth is, you don't really just play in Philly. You survive it, you earn it, and if you're lucky, you grow from it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is I think that it was always lost in translation with Phillies fans a little bit. Listen, we're nuts. We get out of hand. We live and die by our teams a little, probably too much. But that's what makes it fun. And that speech, that part of the speech right there means Chase got it. He got the memo and he ran with it. A lot of guys never got the memo and ran with it. They took it as either you love me, and then I'm not doing good. You don't love me anymore, and I don't like you now because you don't love me anymore. Even the incomparable Mike Schmidt, early in his career, until after he retired, and he understood it later in life. He understood that. I'm going to play it one more time. He understood this message. It's only 15 seconds long.
And the truth is, you don't really just play in Philly. You survive it, you earn it, and if you're lucky, you grow from it.
I mean, that's T-shirt worthy right there. That's, to me, is the greatest line from a Philly sports player to the fans, to the city, to the fan base, I've ever heard. I'm gonna be honest with you. I ever heard. He understood it right away. Well, maybe not right away, but pretty quickly. Like I said, Mike Schmidt was a great player and all that stuff. I'm not saying he's not like top dog. He is my top dog. I got more Mike Schmidt signed stuff. I had the greatest opportunity when I was covering the Phillies to talk to him on a bunch of games because he would sit in the back with Charlie Manuel in the press box, and they would talk to you, man. I felt, I had like I feel like I'm pretty like even keeled enough. Like I don't get starstruck when I meet people, guys I consider my heroes. Um, but when I was talking to him, and he was just talking to me like any other guy, he understood what he can understand about baseball. We would all we wouldn't be able to come even close. But he talked to me like a normal guy. He respected my points on baseball, even though maybe he shouldn't have. I don't know. I never played at his level. I never come close to playing at his level. You know what I mean? But it was cool like that, and he got it. But he got it later in life. Chase understood the mission almost right away, and that's why I want to look at guys who I think, again, maybe don't fit the same personality, but understand the mission, like it or not. And I'll bring one up, and I'm going to wish him a happy birthday today. So I might give it away who I'm talking about. But Jalen Hurts. Let's talk about Jalen Hurts. That guy understands the mission, like him or not. He might be a I'm sorry, Bob, I missed this. Bernie Perrant. That's a great one. That's a great one. Definitely like falls into that Jason, like I can say like a Mount Rushmore of players who understood the fan base. If I had to pick three guys, we've just talked about them. Jason Kelsey, Chase Utley, Bernie Perrant. I don't know who my fourth guy would be just yet. Jimmy Rollins, maybe. Dawkins. I think Dawkins would fall into that. And that's another one we'll talk about. But he, like Jalen gets it. And like I said, I'm not glazing Jalen. I'm not getting like trying to start, is he a better quarterback than this quarterback? But he gets the memo. And it's funny because guys who do criticize him, right, because of he isn't a perfect quarterback. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that. He's not a perfect quarterback. And yes, having a good team around him, a good organization around him helps. But that helps anybody. I don't care how good you are. There's very few quarterbacks out there who are going to win with mediocre players, mediocre coaches. You mean when Tom Brady finally went from New England to Tampa, he picked a team that had pieces offensively together that he needed. Right? When Patrick Mahomes was doing it, he had guys like Tyreek Hill. He had some of the best defensive with Spags and some of the players that he's had around their defense around. So I'm not sitting there saying they're not great players, but they've had good support too. Because at the same time, the same people, you look at the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, another great quarterback who should have probably a couple championships under his belt already. Who doesn't? Seems a little snake bitten. But people blame, he hasn't had a good wide receiver around him. If that was the same, if the roles were flipped, if it was Josh Allen here with the same Josh Allen results, we'd be trying to trade his ass away by the third season. But Jalen gets the message, and what I mean by that, he gets the message that it's all about the winning. Chase said it in another part of his speech. Sorry, I had a brain fart there for a second. The main thing is the main thing, and the main thing is winning, right? That's all we're here for. In the long run, I enjoy the ride, but the winning is what I'm here for. And me and Matty B have gone back and forth on this all the time. But we agree that winning the championship, that trip down Broad Street, it's what it's all about, right? So there's guys that we love and we honor, like John Kruk and a lot of the 93 Phillies, Brian Dawkins, And a lot of the 04, 05, 06, 07 guys who never were able to get over the hump with Philadelphia, they just felt like we were snake bitten, that we were never going to win. You know, it's easy to pick Bernie Perrant, right, Bob? It's easy to pick Chase Utley, right? And those guys, you know, won championships. You got 2 for Bernie in a row. You got 1 for Chase. Him and Jalen, same idea. 1-1 and 1-1, but did, 1-2 and 1-1, right? So, but because Jalen isn't that perfect quarterback that we're, the Josh Allen type's going to throw 500 yards. The main thing's the main thing, and he understands that message. I think even the most biggest Jalen hater or somebody who would disagree with me right now could agree with that. I think he is a guy who gets the message. John Kruk, I think there's another guy I kind of glossed over. He gets it. John Kruk is John Kruk. You know what I mean? Like, he isn't. I'm on TV and I'm being somebody different. Then I'm alone. I'm being somebody different. John Kruk is John Kruk, and I think that's what makes you more Philly. Like, this is me. I get it, but he never won. But people beloved him. So my point is, Jalen Hurts can fall into that category, even if you don't love his type of play, his way of winning. He wins. And I know you consider, any quarterback can win. I don't agree with that. Because if that's true, then Josh Allen should have a couple Super Bowls under his belt. Lamar Jackson should have a couple Super Bowls under his belt right now. Right now, he ran into Patrick Mahomes. That's bullshit. Eagles did it twice, beat him once. Those are my things that, how people will talk out one side of the mouth and the other, and it's good for the narrative or good for their point that they're trying to make. All that plays. And here's another one. I'll play Elijah Moore. He had an interview. I think it was today. Yeah, it was today. And we're going to break down a little bit what we've seen from the camp so far in a moment. But Elijah Moore said something that I appreciate that kind of goes along with the conversation tonight about understanding the message of Philly under the expectations of Philly.
It's not been an exactly linear path in the NFL for you. How would you describe your journey?
I think that life is not a linear path. I think for any person, I think there's rarely, even some of the top players that get picked, that it goes exactly the way that they want it. And I think that's there to teach you lessons. I got kids, man. I got things I got to teach them outside of just having everything go my way. What example would I set if everything went my way? I wouldn't have nothing to tell. So I think it's just brushing myself off, always having high hopes. I believe in the Lord, and it's continuing to push. I think that's what always keeps me motivated. Whatever situation I'm in, just have high hopes. I put the work in. Anything else outside of that just takes care of itself.
Put the work in. It's not going to come to you. It's not going to fall into your lap, right? And that's the kind of guy we like. Roll your sleeves up, get your hands in the muck, and give me your all. That's why guys who haven't won championships in this city are beloved as much, if not more, than guys who have a ring on. Time also plays a bit of a factor into it as well, like revisionist history and all that stuff. Like, Brian Dawkins was a great player, one of my favorite all-time Eagles, if not the favorite. Like, him and Kelsey, top 2 easily. You can interchange them. Give Kelsey maybe a lead because of the championship. I don't know, but the doggone it, I'm going to leave it out on the field. I want to see their soul escaping their body when I hit them type mentality. That's the Philly way, and what a lot of Philly fans feel like. And for the most part, that's true. But you know, I think we kind of pump ourselves up a little bit too, based on what we think of ourselves. These, but we are a hard knuckled, group of people for the most part. You know what I mean? We expect a lot. We will buy expensive hats, buy expensive T-shirts, buy expensive tickets, go to buy a $27 hot dog and drink a $47 beer, spend $60 just to park our cars to go into a game I just spent $200 and some dollars to go into. I mean, we talked about this many times in the past. It takes me about $1,000 if I want to buy a decent seats to go see a game and bring my wife and two of my kids and buy them a hot dog and a drink. That's 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 drinks, parking. It's about $1,000. I'm sure you can find it a little cheaper, but if you brought everything at face value, that's what it is. But we do it. Even when the teams are struggling, like this Phillies team had for a little while. It's really how I'm trying to put this in the right terms. It's really we're a certain breed of animal, and we expect a lot, I guess, of our players because of what we put a lot into it. Hard-earned money. The money we make is a lot less than the money they make to play a kid's game, and we expect nothing less than excellence, which should go through like life itself. Like it should be a life discussion on its own right there, like how we feel about anything, how we do our jobs, how like when I coach kids in football, I expect them to at least give me their best, to strive for excellence. I tell my kids at the end of every practice, me and the other coaches, we get an hour and a half with you 3 times a week for about a month leading up to a game. Do the math. It's not a lot. It's 4.5 hours a week times 4. So you're what? 18 hours. I get 18 hours with you to get you ready for a game. Guys, a lot of guys, so this is especially, we call this a turnaround year because a lot of the seniors that we've dealt with for the last couple of years have moved on, and there's only a few left that I worked with last year that are still here. Yeah, I saw that. We have Bryce trying to throw him out from right field. I mean, close. But I tell him, go home. Give them some things you can do from home with pillows and out lawn, hiking the ball to a lawn chair to try to knock it over. Work on your stance. Work on this. Look over the playbook. Understand the assignment. And like I said, back to Chase. He understands it. But they talked about how much time he spent in the video room. You don't think Jalen does that? And he won too. Yet he still gets that criticism. But let's change a little gears. I've been preaching a little too much right now. Let's just look at the practice notes from today. Right, yeah, these are my practice notes from today. So just kind of, going through Twitter, a lot of stuff I found from Brandon Lee Gowton. That man is just a wealth of information. If you're not following him on Twitter, you're completely missing out. Bleeding Green Nation, Brandon Lee Gowton. I have, if you watch me in my old days with the OPA, maybe I'll reach out to him, try to get him on here sometime either at the beginning of the season or right when the season's like right before the season starts. One of the nicest individuals you'll ever meet. He will talk to anybody. He will come on and talk to you, but he knows his game. I remember the day he called, I think it was on WIP, he was being interviewed, and he called a tie, which everybody thought was pretty crazy. For the Eagles, Cincinnati Bengals, what was that? 6 years ago, something like that. It was right before the pandemic, I think. Yeah, 6-7 years ago, something like that. But here's your practice note. Did not participate. Devontae Smith, he had a hamstring. Kyle Lemon with a hamstring. Britton Covey with a hamstring. Cole Wisniewski, or Wisniewski, hamstring. And Keyshawn James Newby with an ankle. He's the only one who wasn't a hamstring. I guess that's to be expected. Limited participant, Lane Johnson. He's progressing his workload, which I guess is a good thing. He missed about 4 practices, so it's good to see him back. Chance Campbell had limited with his groin, and Micah Morris with a shoulder injury. And he's one of those depth guys we're going to keep our eye on. In practice injury, a little scare today. Cam Jurgens visited the medical tent, did not return to practice. So we'll see what that is. So the Jalen Hurts update, I'm sure. I mean, listen, I get people and the Delia Shore Parks effect, and power to him, I guess, for making a cottage industry out of keeping stats. And tweeting them out and having like stats for practice and preseason and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the man made a name for himself out of it, so God bless him for being able to do it. But I digress. According to his stats, Hurts went 9 for 11 today. Was a relatively lighter workload for him as a passer, with the Eagles working on a good share of run plays. First play in 11-on-11 under center, play action. Hurts rolling right, completed a short pass to Elijah Moore, who I just played a video from. Hurts flashiest, they called it, completion came from a play where he stood in the pocket and ripped the ball over the middle to Darius Cooper in a tight window. So a tight window in the middle should make some people happy. Let's see if he does it more often. Hurts connected with Dallas Goedert on a curl route. So there's that. Hurts juked Cooper DeGea in the open field, taking off running. Where he was seeing instant pressure from Jalen Carter and Jake Majors, who was allowed by Jake Majors, who was filling in for Jurgens after Jurgens got hurt. We talked about that. Hurts got Maro Jomo to jump off sides on a hard count, so there's that. They all sang happy birthday to him in the practice team huddle, which is cool. I like the camaraderie of this team. Now, on the other side of the QB conversation, apparently the QB quarterback battle update, backup QB battle update, it was Tanner McKee's turn to go first in the second team offense today. And overall, the feelings is McKee's been behind Dalton thus far. It's been close, but, McKee ripped the ball to Danny Gray along the sidelines. Probably his best completion all day. Multiple good completions with Darius Cooper. Touchdown ball with Johnny Wilson is another name. Yeah, no, Bobby, I get you. I get you. And this isn't just WIP. A lot of what I'm reading, my notes of the breakdown of the actual plays, is Brandon Lee Gowton. He is top notch. I'm just going to throw that out there. He is top freaking notch. Like, he is a guy, I read his stuff religiously. I base a lot of my research, my thought process. I'm very in line with him, and when I'm not sure about something, I look to see what he says, and then base my decision on that, subject or scenario or whatever. On I bow to his expertise in this case. The guy is, he's the Chase Utley in my eyes of Eagles coverage. He just gives a rat's ass, and he does a good job of it, and he understands it. And it's not. Here's the thing is, he's one of the tried and true non-clickbaity guys. Like, I love his stuff for that big reason right there. He is not a guy who's going to come here and be like, oh, wow, look at this. He got picked off by Reek Woolen or something. And are we going to have a QB controversy? Is Andy Dalton going to start the season for the Eagles? You know what I mean? Like, that isn't him. He just tells it as it is. He's struggling. He's not struggling. He is struggling. You know, like he tells it as it is and puts his 2 cents into it. And that's why I know I've kind of glazed him a little bit too much in that one, as the young kids say. D1 glazing right there. But he is one of the few tried and true, like, big company names out there who's been around for a very long time, who I just have the utmost respect for because he is that good. But McKee had a touchdown ball to Johnny Wilson, as I said. The band, McKee, had a pass bad down near the line of scrimmage by Mondin. That's the big one. Dalton didn't have a bad day either, accordingly. Connected with Wilson as well. The goal line. He's a big and some small similar routes. Nothing crazy. This isn't a big surprise, but offensive versus defensive line 101 non-starter edition, as he calls it. Jake Majors got cooked by Byron Young. Jake Majors, he's a camp body on that one. Michael Jordan anchored well against the bull rush from Gabe Hall. Miles Hinton shut down Zion Wilson. You know, these are just, again, Eli Stowers was a guy that people were like getting a little scared about. Like, he was showed some signs of life today. Someone was wearing a Jason Babin jersey at practice. That was funny. He put that in his notes. And Jaylen Brown, new Sixer. Got to hang out, came out and met like a couple of the old guys, Saquon. So that's cool with Jaylen. But what are you guys looking at for the Eagles this year? Where is my boys, my ladies, my guys, everybody? Where are your eyes on next weekend? What position? What player? Where are you at? Oh, sorry, I'm eating my water ice. I started eating before I hit the start button. I forgot I had it. Best water ice in the world. Rosati's water ice. Don't care what anybody says. Rita's can go pound sand. For all I care. I mean, I don't dislike Rita's. Don't get me wrong. But Rosati's the best. This is a good one. This is a chocolate cherry one. I'm not a big chocolate water ice guy. Theirs is good. They're moving their start practice again. They're moving up. Sean Mannion, you know, just from what I'm hearing, from what I'm reading, he's doing everything we've all been asking for, not just me, but I know we've talked about quite often about what we're looking for as a guy who there's going to be a lot of misdirection, deception, pre-snap, things like that. And he's doing it well so far, and guys seemingly are picking up on it and all that fun stuff. But I mean, I am excited about the Sean Mannion offense. I mean, I'm trying to pump my brakes a little bit. So, but I can't say I'm not excited for what he off. I mean, listen, we've had some really good offensive coordinators who have led us to Super Bowls. So it's not like it's the first one, you know. So, but ultimately, I'm really excited to see if he can live up to this young Sean McVay, you know, type offensive coordinator, possibly future head coach abilities. And again, I don't expect that week one, day one, but I do expect it not to be super vanilla after the first quarter or two. I expect them to start going early and incorporating what we've seen, to be honest. And again, like kind of talking about the how do I put it, the underappreciation of Jalen Hurts and of his all that. There was a video out, I guess about 3 days ago. It was Justin Herbert and his girlfriend or whatever, and they're literally at Chargers training camp. I know I could be taking this out of context, whatever, but I don't know if he's sitting on the ground and she's stroking his hair and kind of like doing that. Listen, by the way, I love that when my wife does that and just like kind of runs her fingers through my hair and plays with my scalp. Yeah, I'm in a trance at that. Like if I'm ever angry, like you ever watch the Avengers, the lullaby for the Hulk, and she puts her hand out and puts it in his big hand and yada yada yada, and makes him turn back to Bruce Banner. Well, that's what my wife would do to me if I was a giant green rage monster. But I'm watching this video, and it's literally a 4-second long video, 6-second long video, and he's sitting on the ground. She's kind of got her legs intertwined in him and just doing this. But there's kids running around, so it's definitely more than just a normal training camp. So they could be taking a break or whatever it is. But the optics. If this was in Philly and Justin Herbert had the same record, the playoff record that he has now, we would be crucifying him. Absolutely crucifying him. Ricky, let's go Phillies. Let's sure hope they can get the offense going. They always seem to bring it later in the game, so maybe let's see how the 7th inning takes us. Wheeler had an okay game, not his best. Definitely was annoyed by the Blue Jays. One of the guys got kicked out because they didn't like something he was doing. I don't know. The guy ran his mouth, and good old Wheeler. So the only thing I've seen is Matt Gelb said before the 4th inning, home plate umpire Tom Payne had a chat with Zach. Apparently, Jays had an issue with something. What something is, I don't know. And then they tossed the Jays hitting coach David Popkins. Like Poppins with a K in it. And Wheeler just turns to the dugout and goes, F you. I love it. I love how you just turn the whole dugout full of guys and just go, F you. You know, and it's like you wonder what it is, because if it's balls and strikes, ABS would do it, and they ran out of challenges pretty quickly just today. The Blue Jays did. Our hitting, I mean, like the Phillies hitting. No, the Phillies hitting hasn't been great. We have to hope that they can pick it up now. Mesa's got to keep this at a 4-2 game right now, and see if they can wake their bats up a little bit. Maybe everybody had the delay, so you can't blame that. What kind of water ice, Ricky? You just missed what I was talking about. This is actually a hometown thing, but you can buy it. It's a national brand too. This was made in Clifton Heights, Pennsylvania, a place called Rosati's Water Ice. And when I was younger, it was just a place you can go up to the window and get it. And then they started selling the stores, pretty much like the local Acme's and stuff like that. And they had the smaller ones. But this is called Let Freedom Ring. They had like a whole America based flavors. They had something 250 or Patriot 250, where it's like blue raspberry cherry all swirled together with a marshmallow layer like swirled into it, which sounds kind of weird but really good. One of my favorites. And then they This is one of them. So it's chocolate water ice with cherry water ice blended together. So the chocolate cherry thing. Both of you like, oh, I don't like chocolate water ice. I don't like chocolate water ice either, but I will eat this one. Very creamy, very good. You can get it at local stores. I don't know where you live, Ricky. They may or may not have it. But like it is a national brand now, but it started right here in Delco and Clifton Heights. So check it out. And they're great sponsors of the Clifton Heights Boys Club too. But I grew up on this when I was younger. This is an old man story right now. I'm 43 years old, and when I was I used to work out at a gym. It was called Massios in Clifton. The gym was a lot of different things. Piper after that and all this stuff. And we'd go for football, strength training, and here's a bunch of young buff dudes coming down, and these guys were, the warehouse was right like a block away from it. So they would, even when we were younger, they did this to us. But even when I was that age, they were like, come here, guys. We'll give you a case of like a 12-pack of water ice, which wasn't the smartest thing on our behalf. I'll tell you why in a second. For two reasons. If you help us load up, you can do whatever flavor you want. If you help us load up these big trucks here real quick. So a couple guys get in the truck because they're like these freezer trucks, big old Mack trucks. A couple guys would just pull them off the skids the workers were coming out with. And what we could do in, 12 minutes, would take them like 40 minutes. And they get to go home early, and they don't have to cost them any money because we're getting the company's product, not pulling out the money of the workers. So we would help them out, and they would give it to us. So like, unless you lived like right there, either your water ice is going to melt, or we would walk to the gym. And I know the owner, Mr. Mass, and all those guys, like, give me a water ice, or here, I'll stick it in my freezer for you. And then half of them were gone by the time I got to it. So it's one of the better ones, not the better one. I can't wait. Yeah, no, Bobby, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I'm going in there with reasonable expectations on Sean Mannion, but at the same time, after what we saw last year, and all that stuff, it's going to be hopefully a drastic change. Ricky, where do you live? I can maybe look. I know you go on their website, Rosati's Ice. They have a Rosati's Ice tracker, so you can put in your zip code or something. It's worth it if you can get it. That's a great water ice. My cousin Danny Gallagher had it on his water ice truck. Yeah. And they actually do this cool thing now. It's really inexpensive. I'm going to do it for a party at my house at one point, like for my kid's birthday. You can rent they'll drop off a cart, like a freezer cart full of water ice, and you rent it, and they charge you whatever it is, and then they come pick it back up, and it's like a real nominal fee for something that cool and that nice for a party, especially in the summertime. Anything is better than, Bobby, anything is absolutely, for your lips to God's ears, as we always say, anything was better than last year's vanilla defense, right? Like it was absolutely horrible. Let me see. But Ricky, I will take a look for you because it's like I said, it's one of those good things. It's like a very natural, thing, and I'm not trying not to get off anything. Like I'm not trying to do a commercial for it at all. Just great company. Has been a big part of my life and the organizations that I work for. Yeah, the closest places to you right now I'm looking at are with about the Philadelphia area. There's not too much in the area of New Jersey, like just basic stores. So you have to come to Philadelphia, Delco area. So we've got a 15-mile radius, but that's what according to the website. So I looked it up for you there, Ricky. But yeah, like who else are you guys looking at though? Are you looking? What position for the Eagles are you guys looking at? And And right now, and we didn't really get to talk about this. I'm gonna, since it's on the TV, by the way, down 4-2 with one out, seventh inning. Crawford is up. A lot of the hits have been coming from our bottom of our half of the order, but the Luis Arise move, the big trade that I like. I wanted Luis Arise here before the season started, and maybe that would have been better in the long run. But batting a 324 when he got here, and hopefully he doesn't strike out, doesn't even swing and miss much. Hopefully he can continue to bring that. But what are your guys' thoughts on the whole trade? Yeah, is it enough to get you back on track? Is it enough to make you feel semi-confident in your fighting Phillies to make more of a push than you thought they maybe could before the break, before the deadline? I put the website in the comment section for you there, Ricky, so you can check it out. But was Luis Arise and the few arms, were they enough to make you excited for going forward for the Phillies? Like for them maybe to make more noise in the playoffs than maybe you thought possible before the move? And how about the defensive shakeup? I think we talked about that. Bryce Harper back in right field. A lot of people on his ass about being unwilling to move, unwilling to leave first base, and he did it. He said, "I'll do whatever's going to help this team win." He's in right field again. Bo moved to first. Stott's at third, doing a good job so far. With Arise now at second, and Trey still in the shortstop position. Do you like it? Does it make you nervous? Bob hasn't changed your mind at all. Like it doesn't even make you feel like, I'm not sitting there saying it's a World Series team now, but do you feel, does the addition of Luis Arise, or because he's another left-handed bat, just the same as it always was? So the bullpen upgrades were Brooks from the Mets. You got Brooks Raley. They got like a Oakland got Seth Johnson. We got a outfielder Colby Thomas, but he's in the minors right now. And then Killian, who didn't really make the greatest first impression, but that's when the team was already down. And they didn't address the starting pitching, which, if you said in the areas that I was okay with them passing up on it with starting pitching, might come out and bite me in the ass for saying this. I'm okay. Like, really, to be honest with you, I'm okay. They needed another bat. They needed a guy who's going to make contact, and I'm okay with that. Everything I've been asking for. Like, maybe they're listening. I don't know. Whatever it is. But I'm okay with them not doing it, because when it comes down to it, a starting pitcher is only going to help us get to the dance. It's not going to help us in the dance unless he can go to the bullpen. And that's a conversation we had. I mean, Painter had a good start, but then now he got another injury to deal with. That's a problem. Our two top prospects are injury guys. It's a thing we don't worry about there. Aaron Nola, if it's more than a mediocre team, is not going to give us much apparently, but we'll find out. I would have liked to seen it, but we don't need I would have taken a long arm for the bullpen, to be honest. Because you can make a starter out of him if you need to, and you can use him still in the playoffs. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. You're welcome, Ricky. Anytime, buddy. This guy Little at the plate or on the mound, little control issue right now. Definitely Schwarber. Yeah, is this a thing? By the way, like I don't want to be like told you so guy, but what did I know Kyle Schwarber in the home run derby was fun. I had a great time, blast watching him, but since the home run derby, he's kind of been non-effective from the power bat situation. And he's an older guy. Like I know what the situation was. They're in Philly. Philly's going to come. They're going to support. They're going to want to see their guys in there. Bryce Harper should have been there. If it wasn't in Philly, Bryce Harper's not there. I would have rather seen him resting, but this is why I don't like and maybe this lull has nothing to do with it, but here he goes. He just popped into center field again, like not even close to the fence. Like, he just needs to get the ball in play. Can I run live one night? Can I run live one night? That you got to talk to Matty B on that one, buddy boy. I do not make any of those decisions. I am a worker bee, Ricky. A worker bee who works for Matty B. It is his platform. It is his he's the boss man. The B in Matty B stands for Matty Boss Man. Everything goes through him. So the Dombrowski Harper tension, right? Is it permanently fractured? Is this Dombrowski's final, like, hurrah? You know, they got Arise, and if Arise comes into some playoff hero, and the Phillies somehow, you know, conquer the Dodgers, conquer the Brewers, and make their way to the World Series and beat whoever team's on the other side. You know, is this Dombrowski's last hurrah? And is that why tensions are so high with them? Not just that, because Dombrowski's pulling everything out of his bag. Like, I'm gonna test Bryce Harper by calling him not elite. You know what I mean? Like, is that what he's going to do? Or is that what was he trying to do? Because then, like I talked about before, you know, what Bryce didn't like that Dombrowski didn't keep it internally, he went and did the same thing pretty much. Breaking his stones and Preston Mattingly that they need to get people here, and you know, he was kind of speaking out of school. Are both guys getting exhausted with this organization? Like, it's a reasonable conversation. You know, is Bryce Harper, knowing his championship clock and his age is catching up, that maybe if it's not here for Philly, he needs to get out of here? And it's Dombrowski just knowing that he can't get it done. Trey Turner really sank in there and had a good at bat when I thought this looked like it was going to be another strikeout. Guys, two guys on first and second, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. We need to see a little Bryce Harper magic right here. I will tell Matty you said hi, Ricky. I will let him know that. But does Dombrowski need to be fired? I think so. I think his time has passed. But my point is, at this point, I should say, guy's waving his baby around for good luck. What do you have to work with if you or anybody else? Like, the Sixers got rid of their guy and were able to turn what we thought was going to be a mediocre aged team at best that we're just have to ride out the next few years. And added Jaylen Brown and LeBron James, maybe that somebody else can do that here. But with this looming lockout, I talked about this the other day. With this looming lockout, it's not just the age of these guys you have to worry about. That's it, Bryce. Just make him throw you a strike. Make him throw you a strike, and don't tap your head because of whatever makes you excited. Tap your head when it's needed. All right, tap his head on that one. I think that's the right call, though, Bryce. I think it's the right call. Is the looming lockout playing a huge factor as well for these players? Because I don't know how they're going to enforce it if they do add in a salary cap to baseball. With guys who have money still coming on. But I think that plays a big factor because there could be a whole year lockout. I wouldn't be surprised. 3-0 count. Do you give Bryce Harper the green light here? Or do you just try to get him on and get your best hitter, and Luis Arraez, to come up? I give him a green light. But not with he's not throwing him anything. And this hurts him because if you're little, in the back of your head right now bases are loaded. Harper got walked. 11 balls for 5 strikes with his total pitch shot 16. Little has definitely having command issues right now. He has little command. So we're going to keep our eye on this right now. We'll keep talking whatever you guys want to talk about. We'll talk about the waiver wire if they pick up anybody. But, Luis Arraez comes up and a big opportunity for him. He's throwing it down. He can't hit that strike zone. Luis Arraez is not a guy who strikes out very often. So you got to get him to ground out or pop out or something. Because if you walk him, you're not helping yourself. Now, they have a 2-run buffer, so you can be a little bit of this guy can't hit the strike zone if his life depended on it. So it's a 2-0 count right now. I know you guys don't love I don't love doing this either. 2-0 count right now. Luis Arraez up, being very patient. Harper just got walked. Bases are juiced. 2 outs. Does that mean Alec Boehm's in the 5-hole right now? So, he made him throw a strike. Guy threw him a strike. That's what you do in these cases. That's exactly what you do in these cases. Oof, top of the zone. Fouled it back. This is big. Arraez is 0 for 3 tonight. I don't love Boehm being behind him as my 5-hole guy, but it is what it is right now. Marsh isn't having much, and you got to break it up a little bit. The righty-lefty thing. Can we just talk about Luis a little bit? Like, his approach. He looks like he's got, like, ADD, like, up at the plate. He's like a little kid. He's moving all over the place. He swings. He reaches out. He tries to make something happen with it. Damn it. It sounded kind of good coming off the bat, but no bueno. Luis Arraez was not able to be the hero of the evening and at least get a run or two. He had a single there. He probably scored 2 players, tie the game back up. But nope, that is it for the 7th inning right there, guys. They're going on to the 8th. Killian will be coming in to pitch for the Phillies. And I believe Clement is leading off. So Caleb Killian comes in for Tim Meza, who did a good job. Tim Meza did. So happy with that. 1 2/3 came in for relief for Zach and won another inning after that and threw nothing but donuts up. But yeah, Bob, that's how it feels right now. All right. They have to listen. I've talked about the Phillies going into this. I talked about this, I think, Tuesday. I believe on Tuesday. This month of August, from a schedule standpoint, just kind of wins and losses by the teams and the strength of teams that they have in front of them. This is a month you need to stack up the wins. Come September. Come September, you got the Braves. Twice. You got. Sorry, my son doesn't understand when I'm talking that I'm doing a show. They does the Braves. They got the Braves, Astros, Braves. Then you got the Marlins and the Nationals and the Mets all in the month. Now I know a few of those teams aren't great, but they're divisional teams that would love to play upset. Ruin a postseason bid for us somehow. All that kind of stuff. So they need to do their job now, in my eyes. They need to stack the wins in August before it's too late. You came out to a crap start. Then you turned around, kicked some ass. Then you cooled off at the end of June, beginning of July. And you had, coming out of the All-Star break, having been great. Atlanta's continuing to win, which I don't even care about. I don't know about you guys. There's too much inconsistency. But I don't know about you guys. I'm not trying to catch the Braves, right? That's not what I'm trying to do. I am not trying to catch the Braves. I am trying to get to the postseason. And I would prefer not to catch the Braves. We need a humbled Phillies team who's hungry and angry and healthy to go into the playoffs to have any chance with the current makeup of where we're at right now. He did not drop that ball, by the way. Brandon Marsh did catch that ball right there. The ball fell out in the exchange. So I know people are just like, he dropped the ball. No, he caught it. He went to exchange the ball into his hand, and it fell. So that is in the exchange. That is still an out. So I don't think we have to worry about that. Are they looking at it? Are they really looking at it? Can they look at it? They don't have any. There would have to be an ump review, right? Okay, no, they're not looking. I thought they were. I mean, it's not just get to the playoffs, Bob. I mean, I understand what you're saying. Nah, it's not good. Home run, solo shot. Smith, Killian, not really ingratiating himself to the Phillies fans right now. 5-2, Toronto. I mean, it's not a good game. And no, they put jackets on. Let me ask you a question. Even the Phillies at times, but like, it's one thing if you put like a chain on a guy, if you put like a crown on him, or so it was the home run sombrero. That was cool. I like the home run sombrero. I remember, who was it? Bamboo Brad, who had the 3 sombreros on the one game because he had 3 home runs in the one game. They were putting on some like red, like magician's jacket here. Like, have these like post home run celebrations gotten out of hand? Just a little too ridiculous. It's one thing you wear. I remember, I'll talk about Team Italy, right? I was all about Team Italy in the World Baseball Classic. I wanted America to win, but I was loving my Italian brethren were getting a chance, and they were putting up, a bit of a fight and making a name for themselves. But they were like drinking like shots of espresso on home runs, and like, you're gonna burn yourself or something, dude. Like, it's like one thing, you put on and they really like. I wonder how some older Italian people or people maybe take offense to things. Like some of the stuff was like they were doing this, they were just doing like stereotypical Italian things. Like, I thought was funny. I can laugh at myself. You know what I mean? My uncle, we were at I was at a meal with my uncle and my aunts and my parents a week ago, and my uncle goes, "If we were to handcuff you, would you not be able to talk?" And I said, "Probably. It'd be different." It takes me a lot. Like when I first started doing this, not to whack the microphone, because I would grab it and I'd be shaking it and I'd be like, "Ah, yeah, go get him!" Like I'd be like yelling and screaming and then I'd hit it. Like I would be like, "Oh, did you see him?" And then like I'd hit the microphone. You know, but it's I know I talk with my hands. I have that stereotypical Italian ability to talk only with my hands. I can't talk without using my hands. But I'm just saying, I'm surprised that somebody didn't complain about it, or we heard more complaints about it. I'm sure somebody did. Do we add anybody in the waiver wire? Guys who've been DFA'd, or the Phillies had somebody down the line here. They have probably another week to add anybody else. 76ers. I've seen people online talk about they've got their jerseys already. They officially signed him a 2-year deal, and the man took a huge giant pay cut. I'm sure he's getting it somewhere else, guys. I mean, let's be honest. Jalen Brown had his introduction. He said he literally threw his phone across the room in shock when the Celtics traded him to their bitter rivals in exchange for Paul George and his draft picks. I mean, I got to think about that for a second. That makes a lot of sense. In my eyes. And it's not a slap in the face to us at all. But if I'm Jaylen Brown, I know and he knows what he's worth. Jaylen Brown knows what he's worth, right? Like, he's well aware of what he can do and his abilities. It's no secret. That's why we were all excited to have him. But not the fact I just got traded. And I could see how, maybe Philadelphia wasn't the greatest of destinations because it was just you and then, and Maxey, maybe it's a little exciting from that standpoint, but you're bitter rivals. Be like us trading Bryce Harper to the Mets. Trading Saquon back to the Giants. Like, it'd be like, to me, it's like the Giants did with the Eagle, or let Saquon go and let him get signed, not try to battle for him, keep him out of Philly. In some ways, it's a lot. And I thought that was like really funny that he admitted it. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you just traded me to Philly? Of all places? Like, you traded me to Philly? Like maybe they just, the Celtics look down at Philly. I'm like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? They're not going to go get LeBron James. Well, hold our beer. But what are they going to do? And, I just thought, and for Paul George, who was aged, I'm like, no against Paul George did good outside of, the performance enhancing part, and draft picks, and they might be higher up draft picks when they get to them. I don't know. They trade draft picks from 15 years down the line anymore. It's ridiculous. Bobby's saying the Phillies need to do something now, or there's another loss. Well, not a great start. You thought it was funny too, Bob? Like, I just thought, I get the thought process. Like, even if you're like, well, what's he making? Focus to come to Philly. He's all pissed off, and I can see some Philly fans taking offense to it. But it's not offensive. If you're, could you imagine if your MVP guy helped win you a championship? If like the Eagles traded Jason Kelce to the Dallas Cowboys, or if AJ Brown went to one of our division rivals like Commanders or Dallas or the Giants, we'd be having a heart attack. I mean, and Celtics fans were, and I understand that. Like, he's a really good player. Happy to have him here. Like, it's silly not to think that, but I can understand why he threw his phone. And to me, it's still a bit of a shock, more of a shock in some ways than the LeBron James move. I mean, I'm surprised LeBron James coming here for league minimum. Don't get me wrong. And again, I know they can work this out. He'll probably get stock in the team, or he's going to get 80% of his jersey sales or whatever. He'll make a ton of money off of that. He'll make more money off that than he would work making any contract we would give him. But my point is, like, I get like the shock value of, whoa, you're sending me to Philly? Oh, it's on. Like that's how I'm thinking if I'm him. Oh, you're sending me to Philly because now it's a disrespect. Like, you guys remember a while back when we traded it was a McNabb? Yeah. We traded McNabb to the Commanders. And to me, what does that telegraph you? When you see a guy who was at one point the center of your team's universe, your franchise guy, and you trade him into one of your bitter rivals that you just lost to in the playoffs, might I add. It's on. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, oh, there's no respect now. Not only did you just give up for a guy who's like 5-7 years older than me, who's past his prime, and for some draft picks that can mean nothing, you sent me to our bitter rivals. So the return, in my eyes, isn't worth what I'm worth. That's what you're telling me. And it's a quiet 1-2-3 inning, end of the eighth. So we'll be going into the Titans final in the not too distant future. If this continues with looks like an L, but we'll see how this turns around. But my point is, I could see Jaylen Brown's frustration, but like also just sure surprise of what just transpired. Like, because even I was shocked when I heard that. I'm like, wait, what? And for Paul George and some draft picks, like I had to check that like 3 times because I saw it from, was it Shams who first initially, like, I was like, wait a minute, this can't be right. This has got to be one of those joke accounts. Like, I'm like reading each character on the Twitter handle to make sure I'm not reading this. I'm reading this correctly. This isn't some fake account. And it wasn't, obviously. But my point is, I can understand the shock value. And now I want revenge. And I want to see. I think in the back of my head, the most hungriest guy to bring the Sixers a championship on that team now is not Embiid. It is not Maxey. It's not even LeBron James. It is Jaylen Brown. That's who it is in my eyes, because now it's the revenge tour. That first Celtics-Sixers game, and I'm going to guess this might be a Christmas Day one, because we might be real busy around the holidays, us Philly fans, between all the stuff that, but the Eagles, the night or Christmas Eve play, and I believe the Sixers will be on Christmas Day with the Celtics. Must-see TV, maybe a Christmas present for all of us. And the visceral angst, the angriness of Jaylen Brown, it's going to be something to see, and it's going to be more to see than Embiid, Maxey, and or LeBron James at that point. That's what I'm excited about. I think that situation, this conversation I'm having with you, has kind of gotten lost in all the LeBron James. We won the LeBron James sweepstakes. We got Jaylen Brown. Now we got LeBron James. We got Embiid. We got Maxey. We got VJ Edgecombe. We got a bunch of guys, some veteran standouts. I call it bargain deals. Like that's like a big piece of it that I think has not really been talked about enough and kind of underappreciated in the conversation. Last 3 outs, Bobby. You're absolutely correct, my friend. Like they got to do something now. I mean, it's like poking a dead bird with a stick. Is this thing gonna fly? I don't know. But like, do you guys feel like the Jaylen Brown thing was kind of like too under the radar because of the whole LeBron James, or just? I honestly, that's what I'm most excited for, is the angry Jaylen Brown who just wants to beat up on the newly owned Celtics. Don't forget, this is a new regime. Maybe they're trying to cut costs by cutting costs. Cutting big time players, or just trying to scratch and take it over again and get some young guys in here. I still don't get it. It really, the trade still is. And then there's some content creators out there that make me just outright laugh. Oh, well, the Celtics actually were the winners of this, because just maybe Jaylen Brown isn't the same player he is anymore. He just dropped off the face of the earth somehow. Like, guys for click. It just makes me laugh. Yeah, Bobby, I think Jaylen Brown is going to go off on Boston. I think Beantown is going to regret that, like, massively. And again, I still am dumbfounded about how this was thought to be a good trade. I don't get it. I mean, the next 2 years, Sixers should be fairly relevant. Sorry. It's late, guys. They should be fairly relevant, meaning that they're going to be high up in that picks. And we all know this isn't the NFL draft, where a first-round pick is good 1 through 30, usually a starter. This is the NBA draft. Top 5, top 10, maybe. We got lucky with Maxey with his pick. How late he went, how he fell to us. Forget that. It seems to be that way, that Bob Gansey is the Howie 2.0. Mike Gansey really, like again, I'll tell you, here's my expectations before any of this went down for the Sixers, right? Well, they'll be good enough for a play-in game. Embiid will play about 30 games a season. That's me being generous. They might make it to the second round if they're lucky. And then same old. Like, that's what I expected. And I expected not just for this year either, Bob. I expected that for weeks, like for the next at least couple of years, to be honest with you. Until Embiid's contract was up, maybe. Then the news drops about Jaylen Brown. I'm like, okay. Mike Gansey's trying to make a name for himself. He's trying to undo the Daryl Morey BS. Somehow this is an amazing trade. LeBron James isn't coming here, guys. And that's the LeBron James sweepstakes for me is like the ending of a teen drama movie, like rom-com movie, like, in my eyes. We were the nerdy kid that the girl never noticed in the movie until the end, when he took his glasses off and he was better looking and more than she thought he was. Like, I thought it was definitely Miami or Cleveland or Miami. I'm like, it had to be those two. The Sixers are an interesting conversation. Like, that's how I'm thinking. Like, if I'm thinking like LeBron James, the Sixers, they're interesting. They got Jaylen Brown now. They got Embiid. They got Maxey. They got VJ. So if I go on that team, it definitely helps bolster the team. This team could win a championship. It could bring a championship-starved team. Remember, guys, I was only a few months old when the Sixers last won a championship. I'm 43 years old now, so 43 years ago. My point is, like, I thought we were just possibly that guy that she started to notice, but she ultimately takes the other guy, and it happened. And I'm still I'm still a little flabbergasted about it, guys. I'll be honest with you. I was never the biggest I love LeBron James and he's the greatest of all time. No, I'm still Michael Jordan. Sorry. You're not going to change my mind. There's nothing you could tell me. Even if LeBron James brings my Sixers, a championship, probably going to still sign on the Michael Jordan conversation. But with that being said, it's like he does add something. Yes, he's 40-something years old, and he's definitely probably not the same guy he was 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. But he's still LeBron James. He still commands the respect on the court. And you can't block everybody at the same time. You can't double team everybody at the same time. And if you have a healthy Embiid and you're on Embiid, you leave LeBron open, he's going to score on you. I think LeBron's going to be the king of assists. That's what I expect to see from him. To be completely and utterly honest. I'm not saying he's not going to take it to. He's not going to be Ben Simmons and go, "Oh, I'm under the basket. I'm going to pass it out." No, I think he's still going to drive to the basket. But I think one thing LeBron James is not stupid. He's very smart about keeping his body healthy and in shape at 40-some years old. Obviously, he's passing this along to Embiid, which is awesome. That kid made a great catch there. That's pretty cool. All right, strikeout. We're going to the bottom of the ninth. 3 outs left for the Phillies to do something. And as they do that, I'm probably going to just switch it over here to the final, just so I can have it ready. Unless they tie this game up, right? Unless they tie this game up. We'll see. We'll have it ready here. We're not final ready yet, guys. We'll go shortly, but next 10 minutes or so. Especially if they make this a quick inning. But again, I'm not sitting here screaming that year one we're the championship, but it wouldn't be crazy. And the way they rebuilt themselves, I was just not expecting this. I was in the 12th grade when the Sixers won the championship. Yeah. I was 4 months old. LeBron is 41 years old. Yes, he is. MP is going with stick a fork in him. And MP, I'm not going to push back on you, buddy. I'm not pushing back on you at all. The Sixers have been as soggy as the start of the game offensively, even, a little defensively. Wheeler only had a good game, not a great game. But I don't blame you for this game at all. You won't hear any pushback on me. No, I know you are. I know exactly what you're talking about. Talk about the Phillies. Not going to push back on you. Bob, I'm back on the Sixers bandwagon too. I mean, and as everybody should. And listen, we know the dopes. I'm going to use that term for a reason. The dope and dope Junior, who are saying it's the worst thing that could ever happen to Philadelphia. This is not the worst thing that could happen to Philadelphia. If we brought LeBron James in as our centerpiece and had nothing around him and thought we could win, that would be stupid. LeBron James isn't the best player on our team. Jaylen Brown is, in my eyes. We got a knuckleballer here, guys. We got a side thrower. The Phillies either do great or can't do crap with this. It's interesting to see how this plays out. Bryson Stott is up. Guy hasn't got it above Bryson's ankles very far yet, but we'll see. I'm sure that'll change. Yeah, you're probably right because the Sixers, even during the Iverson era, Even during the Iverson era, I mean, you had Iverson. He was amazing. Talk about a guy trying to carry a team. He didn't have any real support, right? So, yeah. NP, I probably agree with you on this. I wish I was a little older during the Dr. J era. All right. Got a guy on. Stott did his job. This guy couldn't get we pitch in the strike zone except for one. So you're probably not off the beaten path. Yeah, they are. And listen, Bob. I grew up on Howard, and I liked Howard for years. Like you know why? Howard's a fraud to me. I'll tell you why. This is why. He always used to use the term social media ain't media or social, right? Or it's neither one of the two things that it's in its name. Yet, if I asked him to, then delete your Twitter account and just do your job without it, he'll tell you I can't. But he says it's all fake. But he's the biggest clickbait artist. Oh, him and his son. I don't know. They're trying to outduel each other on that. Quan Crawford. Don't give this guy any free passes. He's been having a hard time with the strike zone. You got a guy. I think Stott needs to steal here. We need to take out the double play option for him here because Crawford might give this guy a free pass, and he's way off the plate. What, dude? That got for the box because there's so much deception with it. Like that ball looks a lot closer than it appears when it crosses over the plate. I'm a lot older than on here, the most on here. I remember the feeling when we got Dr. J. You should have leaned in that Crawford. Sorry. You lean in. Chase Utley's here tonight. You just inducted him in the Hall of Fame. You lean into that pitch. Take a hit, get on base. Let Schwarber come up and tie the game, right? Right, guys? It's Chase Utley Wall of Fame night. Somebody should lean into a pitch, right? Yeah, I wish I could have been old enough to understand that time frame. Oh, he would have been walked right there. That was ball 4. Got lucky. But I would have loved to have been alive older at that time for that Sixers era. Because to me, it was stuff I watched on TV about. I've seen documentaries about. I've read books about. I've, whatever. I heard from older family members and friends and everything. NP. But I didn't get to live it. I was talking about this earlier. Guys are kind of coming on here, MP, about the Chase Utley effect. So the Dr. J effect that you just talked about there was the same Chase Utley effect there. Like, I didn't think, dude, that was a good eye. That was a good pitch for him to throw there. I mean, if it was a strike, that would have been better. But that one went all the way from the bottom of the strike zone to the top of the strike zone. I thought he was swinging at that. That was a lot of control from Crawford there. So 2 guys on, first and second. Schwarber's up. Does the double steal have to come in play in my eyes? I think so. I mean, Schwarber can break out of his funk right here. And I don't even care about a home run. I don't need a home run. Bobby's saying the greatest Sixers era of basketball. Probably. Wouldn't be off the beaten path. And then getting Moses sealed the deal, much like LeBron. Yeah. All right. Is that your comparison? I like that. I wasn't arrived at to agree or disagree. But what I was saying about Chase is like, he was that guy. He embodied the city. He embodied the city. Are they managers challenge? What are they challenging? I don't have the audio on. Somebody's not happy about something. Mattingly's smiling. What are they challenging, guys? Oh, hit by pitch. Gotcha. Oh, no, catcher's interference. It looks like it's because I wasn't nowhere near him to be a hit by pitch. Schwarber just needs to get on base, in my eyes. I would like to see a well-placed hit. I would love to see a home run for him, but again, I love this team to learn not to live and die by the home run. Get the tying run at the plate and hit over the fence. No. Get on base, get a guy across the plate, keep two guys on base. Go for the win, not for the tie. But that's just me. But like how Chase Utley understood the mission. Chase Utley understood what it's like to play in Philly. I'm going to play this piece of media. I played it twice earlier. A lot of you new guys came in. Bobby's been here the whole time. So Bobby, just sit through this for a second with me because I want the new guys to respond to this. Here it is. I have to flip this back over. Here's the video.
And the truth is, you don't really just play in Philly. You survive it, you earn it, and if you're lucky, you grow from it.
Greatest words ever said at a speech about playing in Philly. Have to say, I want that on a shirt. I want to get that tattooed on me. Because that, to me, I don't know who wrote his speech, if he wrote that, but that was one of the most amazing lines. So the catcher's interference stuck. It is now a bases loaded, no out situation for Trey Turner with one ball. We're having control issues from our sidewinder. He bobbled it. But only one out. That could have been 2 outs. That might be a huge break for the Phillies right there. So Jimenez fielded that ball, but no, which looked like a routine double play. He got it. Went for the. I don't know if he's trying to get a guy out third, but when he was looking back at third, the ball came out of his hand. That was a huge misplay from the Blue Jays. Well, I guess we're a little behind Bobby on that one. But, yeah, huge misplay. Only 1 out, guys on the corners here. Bryce Harper has got to live up to the living legend moment. Guys kind of starting to find the strike zone a little bit. So that means he's going to put it in the strike zone. He might just challenge people. I mean, there's still the opportunity. He's trying to probably challenge the double play. As Bobby mentions here, 5-3. Only 1 out. Guys on the corner. Bryce is up. 1-1. The Phillies make it interesting, guys. I mean, like when you think you're done, they pull you back in. And I know you guys hate, and I hate doing play-by-plays, but the moment is kind of calling for it. It's another ball, 2-1. There we go. Another 2-1. The rally caps are on, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, Bryce. You just got to be smart. No free passes. That's what annoys me about this team is the free passes they give guys. Guys are struggling. Guys trying to struggle hit the strike zone. And you swing at stuff that's in the dirt or way outside or way inside. And that's the free passes I talk about. That's the stuff that really irks my soul. I mean, he fought off a ball there. I get that. Yes. Woo! That ball ranged a little bit to the right more than the second baseman could play it. Got the score, the player across. It's a 5-4 game now, ladies and gentlemen. It's 5-4. Guys on first and second. Bryce Harper. A little bit of I guess it's considered the decision is sorry guys. The decision is a base hit. He tried to play with the back of his glove, so I can kind of hit off the palm a little bit on the on the palm there, right where the wrist area. He was trying to play it running with his momentum, take him the other way. He just couldn't get in his glove. Even if he did, I don't know if he gets Bryce in that situation. So let's see if Luis Ariz can play hero of the evening. Maybe a walk-off for Ariz tonight. Not trying to jinx the situation, but a Luis Ariz rising to the occasion type moment would be pretty interesting. for the Phillies. All right, 1-1. Guys are definitely struggling. I guess this is his game, Rogers. No point have they talked. They've had opportunities to move him. I guess they have nobody warming up. All right. Yeah, he's trying to get in that strike zone, but he's bringing it up. He couldn't find the above the knees. Now he can't get it below the nose. So it's really about plate discipline for the team tonight. Right now, see if the Blue Jays blow this situation for them. Foul that one off. 2-2. I mean, Arise is all over the place. Like I said, he kind of reminds me of a kid a little bit who just like swings out of his shoes. It's very unorthodox. 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 ED. I'm sorry, unorthodox. But he's effective nonetheless. He's fighting him off. Like the guy doesn't strike you out typically. He just doesn't. He's got a good eye for the ball, especially even with this guy. This guy's a sidewinder. He's an interesting hurler. Some guys, even good hitters, have problems against them. The Phillies have been disciplined with him so far, fighting balls off, which has to be 27 pitches for him at this point. 27 pitches so far in the inning. It's got to be annoying to this guy, you know. Even if I get him in the strike zone, they're fouling him off. It was close. I would like to see a double steal. I don't know what the guys on bases. Trey could do it. Harper, he'd be interesting, and you kind of have to be careful. Do you want to make that throw? That was ball 3, but hey, it is what it is. He's still in it. Arise is 0 for 4 this evening. So we'll see how this plays out for the newly minted Philly and Luis Arise. Everybody is definitely standing up. I believe if I could right now, you'd be staring at my crotch. I would be standing up too if I was in my living room or in my man cave watching this game right now. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 foul balls in a row. It's the 8th pitch of the at bat for Luis Arise. Foul, ball, foul, 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 foul. Yeah, that's what you're looking at right now. Ooh. This is where that challenging situation comes in handy. That was probably a strike, ladies and gentlemen, but since Toronto is out of challenges, I mean, it was very close. So it's still been close to challenge. Boom, walked them. That was huge. So them not having challenges was big right there because that it looked like it tasted the corner. Am I wrong? Guys, agree or disagree with me on this one, but am I wrong? Because that one, that was right there. Well placed single hits. This game's over, ladies and gentlemen. I have to add that with a W for the Phillies. So if you were betting for them to lose, I wonder what that in-game bet would have looked like for a Phillies win at this point. Put $20 down, you probably could bring home $200, right? Easily. I'd have to see what it is, but just saying. So really big at bat, Alec Boehm, the double play machine. Oh, got Trey out at home. That was close. Hold on. Trying to see this. It looks like they got him in time. I don't know if Trey got his foot in there or hand in there or whatever. They do not look like they're challenging it, so it will stay. Bases loaded and 2 outs. Yeah, he did forget that, didn't he? They just had to step on the plate. I think he was. I don't know if he forgot it was a force out MP or if he was just he was just making sure he was on the plate. I mean, maybe he didn't know, he couldn't tell with his shin pad down. Yeah, but I think he did forget it was a force out, I guess. So, thank God Alec Bohm didn't, that looked like it could have been a double play ball at first. But they were smart, because if you don't get the double play, tying score, game's tied. So it was well played in this situation. You're going for the win here. Brandon Marsh, who has, let's be honest, been struggling as of lately. He has not been the Brandon Marsh of the last year. I want to see what his numbers in July totally were. 20 games, 17 starts. Let's see. Two strikes, 0-2 count. Come on, Brandon. What? Oh, I thought that was close. That was close. I guess they're not looking at it. I don't know if they would challenge that. They can challenge it. I mean, I guess they can challenge it. I don't know what they're doing right now. I mean, Brandon's trying to, he's struggling. You could tell. Hold on. No, he's out. He's out by a mile, guys. I'm gonna get you. In real time, it was closer, but balls in the glove, and he's still at least 6 inches away from the plate. I mean, he made it closer than it should have been, but let's do this. All right, everybody, welcome into the Fightins Final with Big Al. For those who have been hanging out with me for the last hour and 40 minutes, thank you, especially for the last 15 minutes. This last inning, Phillies had a sign of hope, but a struggling Brandon Marsh came to plate, and instead of just letting the guy throw strikes, kind of gave him an opportunity to salvage the game. No, he was not safe, unfortunately. He was out, buddy. He was out. Once they slowed that down, his foot was at least 6 inches. It was hard to tell from the angle, like, 'cause it was behind him, but it was at least 6 inches away. He was out, my friend. But Phillies lose tonight in the opener against the Blue Jays. Offense was fairly quiet again for most of the game up until literally the ninth inning when they brought out their side throwing relief pitcher, and the Phillies, and he was having trouble finding the strike zone, and they made him almost pay for it. It was almost. Tonight, box score looks like this. Schwarber was 1 for 4 with a run scored tonight, 2 strikeouts. Hill came in as a pinch runner for him. Turner was 0 for 4 tonight with an RBI, a walk, and a strikeout. Harper was 2 for 4 tonight with 2 RBIs, a walk, and a strikeout. Arise was 0 for 4 tonight with a walk and a strikeout. Bohm was 0 for 4 tonight with a walk. Marsh was 0 for 3 tonight with 1 run scored and 2 walks. I mean, he's getting on base. I wish I was a little bit more patient at that last thing. That could have been a world of a difference. And boom. I put a lot more on Boom on that one. And again, trying to be the hero instead of allowing them, the guy struggling, you allow him to throw you a strikeout. You dictate the game. You're in the driver's seat at that point. Remuto was 1 for 4 tonight. Stott was 0 for 2 tonight with 1 run scored and 2 walks. Crawford was 1 for 2 tonight, 1 run scored and 2 walks. Stott and Crawford, bottom of the lineup, did half decent tonight for the Phillies. On the mound, Wheeler went 5 in the third inning, 7 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned. 5 walks and 6 strikeouts. Those 5 walks are very uncharacteristic. And plus that 1 solo jack, which we'll talk about the scoring, how it worked. Serrano came in 4 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs. 1 of them was earned, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Flaherty came in for the other third with a strikeout. Estrada came in for 1 1/3, 2 walks. Little came in. He was 2/3 inning, gave up 2 walks. Waldron, 1 inning, 1 strikeout. And Rogers, who almost handed the Phillies a W in this one, did not allow the Fightins to fight through this one. He went 1 hit with 2 runs, both of them earned, 3 walks. Rogers is usually a 1.90 ERA, just didn't look like it tonight. Pitching for the Toronto Blue Jays was in 9 innings, 5 hits off, allowed 4 runs, 3 of them earned, 10 walks. That's your big thing for the pitching tonight on the Blue Jays. That's what kept the Phillies in the game. 6 strikeouts right there. Mason did a yeoman's job, came in for Wheeler. 1 2/3 inning for him. Donuts up. Killian came in, 1 hit, allowed it a run, which was a home run, kind of becoming his thing. Shugart, 1 inning, let up 1 hit and 1 strikeout in 9 innings pitched. Phillies pitching let up 9 hits on 5, allowing 5 runs. All of them earned, 5 walks, which don't help, and 7 strikeouts. 2 of the big things are 2 solo jacks. On what started as a very emotional, strong night with the Chase Utley induction, ended off kind of as soggy and squishy as it did begin. How the F do you walk 10 times and lose? I agree with you. Like, again, a lot of those walks came from Rogers. And Serrano, I guess they both had 3. They're allowing the Phillies to stay in it, and I blame, in my eyes in this game, I put a lot of blame on Bowman Marsh, guys who have been struggling, guys who are trying to be the hero in like hitting the ball over the fence or crushing it or something, and instead of just allowing him to hit a home run or allowing him to throw a strike and putting more and getting in better counts. Like, that's just how I look at it. Guess they just don't flick their nipples hard enough. Jeez. Nooms, you've been on fire lately, brother. On fire. Let's look at the scoring for the evening. In the top of the second was that first solo shot. Jimenez off of a Wheeler to right field, making it 1-0. Bottom of the second, JT singles on the line drive. And Brandon Marsh scores, making it 1-1. Top of the third, sac fly. Bateman scores. Toronto's up 2-1. Bottom of the third, in the back right, what looks like a little bit of a ping pong match. Bryce Harper singles. Kyle Schwarber scores. It's a 2-2 game. The bottom of the third. Bottom of the fourth, Nathan Luke singles, scores. Josh Smith makes it a 3-2 game. Top of the sixth, sac fly makes the Toronto lead a little larger with a 4-2 lead. Bottom of the eighth, Josh Smith adds a little more insurance, which obviously was sorely needed in this case. 5-2, because if he doesn't get that, this is a tied game at the very least. Trey Turner then in the bottom of the ninth gets it started off 5-3. Bryce Harper makes it 5-4. And that is how that game will end for you on that one. Nothing was more embarrassing than the bottom of the fifth. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. your lips, God's ears, how that played out. But listen, it should never got that far. That all had to come in the ninth inning, but you have to go win the series now, and then you got to win 2 in a row, bare minimum. And then that's not easy. Phillies are now 62-55 on the season with a home record of 31-29, and that is not bueno if you want to be, if you really want to make a stink. Blue Jays stay at 55-62, so we're reverse wins-loss columns, and they're 5th in the AL East, and we stay at 2nd in the NL East. Like I said, Wheeler didn't have his greatest stuff tonight. It wasn't horrible, but wasn't great either. I'm willing to tip my cap to the Nats for the last loss, but this one is pure garbage. Yeah. No, I mean, the Blue Jays tried handing it to them, but Phillies they're playing hot potato with the W. Nooms. Bobby, me and you both, buddy. At least they didn't use any good relief pitchers tonight, right? And yeah, I mean, that was clearly catcher's interference, by the way. I mean, I don't know why that took so long for them to confirm it, but whatever. Let's take a trip around the bases, and we'll get into the bottom line here. You guys have been with me long enough tonight. All right, guys, for those who are new, trip around the base means we're looking at the entire game of baseball, MLB tonight, and see what the scoreboard looks like from around the league. Bottom of the 10th, Yankees and Atlanta are knotted up at 2, so this should be interesting. We need the Yankees to pull one out for us here. Bottom of the 9th, Tampa's up 2-0 over Seattle. That's one of your Apple TV games tonight, or is your last Apple TV game for the night. Dodgers are up 3-2 over Arizona, top of the 9th. Houston's up 5-3 over San Diego, top of the 8th. Detroit is losing to San Fran at the Bay, 5-2, bottom of the 7th. The Mets, on final in the evening, the Mets beat Pittsburgh 6-4. Of course, the Phillies lost 5-4 to the Blue Jays. Washington beat Cincinnati 5-3. Boston, man, Boston's been on a tear, man. I'll tell you. You know, they were in the same seat as us for a while. I think they've won like 29 of the last 32 games or something. Did I read that correctly today? But they're 64-51. They have a better record than we do. And they had the same kind of start we did. So they really definitely did turn things around. They are 13-1 victory. Or I know it's the A's, but 13-1 victory this evening. A lot of lopsided games. Their offense have just been pouring it on. They might be that sneaky team that we would hope the Phillies would be. The Angels beat Miami 4-3. Thank you, Angels. That is very beneficial for us tonight. Cleveland wallops Chicago White Sox 8-2. Minnesota beat Milwaukee 8-6. Cubbies beat KC 6-4. Rockies lost to the Cardinals 3-2. And the Rangers beat Baltimore 2-1. And that is all your final games tonight. Let's look at the wild card standings as of right now and hit the refresh button. Great show as always, Big Al. Oh, yeah, I'll see you on Sunday, buddy. Holy hell, dude, Bum sucks ass at first base. I'm totally over this Bum. No offense to him. I'm done. I'm ready to move on. I've been ready to move on for him for a year. Your division leaders continue to remain the Milwaukee Brewers, the Braves, and the Dodgers. Now the Dodgers are on the last 6. They're on a 6-game losing streak right now. The Braves are on an 8-game winning streak, of course. So there's that. And Milwaukee just lost 1. They're 6-4 in their last 10. But Milwaukee right now has the best record in baseball at 72-44. Braves are right behind them at 70-45. And the Dodgers are at 69-46. Still all three better than the division leaders in American League. National League is definitely lopsided to the American League. Right now in your wild card, Chicago Cubbies are up. They're up pretty sizably, 6.5 games. over us, the Phillies, in the second place position. And Arizona is nipping at our heels at 61 and 55. And I said they're still ongoing, right? Right, but they might lose. Oh, actually, hold on. I might have to go back. They're still ongoing, right? Yeah. So right now it's mid-ninth. They're down 3-2. So we actually need the Dodgers to win this one, to be honest with you. We need the Dodgers to win this one, hold on to the win. But, and San Diego is not far behind them. They're only one game out of it. St. Louis is 3 games out of it. Miami's 3.5 games out of it. And the Reds are 4.5 games, with the Pirates 5 games. And Washington's 5 games. Everybody else is about double digits and out. But that's why I said you got to stack those wins up in August. Somebody needs to tell me why Bohm is purposely swinging into the ground when a pretty simple fly ball ties the game. Please, ablation procedure yield results. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I think the Phillies organization was all over him. He got, I don't want to say lucky, but between the injury to Ada Miller and the way things started this season and the lack of choices helped him keep his job. Luckily, they're not doing out rings for August play. Yeah, right. I get it, but this I'm saying about the month of August is the type of competition they have. This is where they need to stack up. I got you. I got you on that. The doling. But they need to stack it up because you got a lot of guys who want to either play a spoiler, or you got the Braves, your last 2 series against the Braves. You got the Mets, the Nats, the Marlins, Tampa Bay at the end of the season, Houston. I mean, it's kind of a murderer's row of sorts that they have to deal with. Let's take a trip down the old Broad Street bottom line. Bottom line is a sloppy, inconsistent play, which has kind of been the MO for the Phillies, especially over the last month or so. We're hoping the Luis Arraez effect would continue. Now they could still win. They could still win this series, but these are games that you got to win, and then when you got to capitalize when the time comes. Honestly, I don't give a rat's ass about the division. No, I honestly, Nooms, I've said it numerous times. I do not want them to win. I need a humble, hungry team, to be honest. Braves lost. Whoopee. Yeah, right, MP. I mean, I don't care about the Braves losing as much, but hey, it does help us a little bit in some ways. But technically, they're the second best team in baseball right now. So there's that. Their 8-game winning streak comes to an end. Right? I guess you got to humble them now and then. But that's it. Like we move some pieces around. Do we move enough pieces around? Probably not. Do we do enough to make us a little better? Yeah, I say so, but not enough to move the needle in my eye. Looks to me like the glove is being held a little different with the splitter tonight. He telegraphed it a number of times. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him. If there's a little bit of a tiredness, if there's a little bit of injury or whatever, hasn't been as crisp lately as we're used to seeing. And the problem with us not having enough starting pitching is giving him a night off or extending his time in between. Allowing him to get a little air is going to be few and far between. But, guys, we are at the 2-hour marker tonight. I want to thank you for joining me. I'll see you guys Sunday morning again with Mike Galaro for Philly AM Sports with me and my man Mike Galaro. We'll be talking about the Phillies, hopefully see what's going on. MP Arraez has been talking too much to Kevin Long, hasn't hit in 2 games. Listen, he's batting .324. I get it, but doesn't mean you're going to hit in every game. They knew half of those splitters are coming. Absolutely. But, guys, I want to thank you for joining me. I will see you back on Sunday. It's been a long 2 hours. Sorry, I'm getting a little exhausted here, but no breaks, and I got to pee like a racehorse. So, guys, I will talk to you next time. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you guys all on Sunday morning.